everybody, welcome back, and it's our third and last hour of the day, and what a wonderful day it's been. Lovely to be back with you after this the kind of seasonal break for the last couple of weeks or so. And of course today was the first live collection from Carnation Crafts of 2023. Now we do this every month. We give you a new and exclusive collection that you can't get anywhere else for a good few weeks. Now what I've got to let you know about this collection, Ponderance Place, this has gone so well, and there are shows tomorrow or the next day, so it's not just today. 60% of the entire stock has gone since we gave you a little tease of this, or Carla did yesterday on Facebook Live, and our first show this morning at 9, 11, and now this one live at 1. If you've missed any of the previous shows, you can watch them back, of course, on YouTube or at our website, carnationcrafts.co.uk, and get in touch via Facebook or message in via YouTube. We'd love to hear from you. Now, Ponderance Place, how can I describe what Ponderance Place is all about? I'm sure we've all got somewhere, either in our garden or in our town where we live, where you find yourself just having a bit of you time, you know, kind of sit down, lose yourself in a book, or just watch the world go by, or sit by a river, watch the ducks, that sort of thing. Somewhere where you just feel really chilled out and you're in your own zone. That's what Ponderance Place is all about, no matter where that is. But today, we have got for you a brilliant collection and a special discount code as well. If you use the discount code that's coming up on the screen for you soon, there it is, PPCC, uppercase, all uppercase, 10, you will get it at the best price, which is £98.99. Otherwise you'll be paying nearly 110. So £98.99, provided you use PPCC 10, that will get you that best price. And there are interest-free ways of spreading the cost on our website if you want to take a look at that as well. Free P&P because you're spending over £50. That's always the case with us at Carnation Crafts. And I just think when you see these images in close-up and you see some of the finished cards that the design team have done, you'll be in your element, because what I think Carnation does best is let you have the tools, and then it lets you tell the story. And it's not a story that you're being told about and then you have to retell it. You're building the images and building the story, setting the scene with the characters that are in here today. Let me run through what you've got then. We've got the free flowing to start off with, which is your very own water feature, complete with a little kind of terracotta pot at the bottom there too. That's the first thing. That's a die. Next die set is the card base, basically, which is the Within the Reeds card shape. Now this is nothing short of stunning. You've got the picket fence, you've got all of the kind of bulrushes and that sort of thing as well. And you've got those wonderful winter flowers as well, those kind of wild flowers that you've got there as well. So you can really kind of build that up into quite a scene. If I just drop one of these cards in, this is from Pam Simpson, and you can see just what a beautiful card base this makes for the story. And then you can add in some of the characters as well. So that's your main card base. We've then next to that got what they call the Leafy Hollow, which is a lovely, almost like a little fairy cottage possibly. Again, all the artwork, all the vignettes, they're on the website for you to print off anytime you want to this afternoon, free of charge. Then what about the characters in our story? We've got the Puddle Buddies, we've got the cute chick, we've got the lovely snail, and we've also got Jeremy the frog as well. And Carla will run through all the names. I've forgotten all the names, but she'll go through them for you fairly soon.
It's not really their names, it's only ones I made up.
Oh, I know, but
okay,
they'll stick.
Just in case you thought you weren't getting into trouble.
Now down the bottom, we've then got, over this side for example, we've then got our really cute mouse. This is part of the mouse family from Carnation, obviously, and he's looking as if he's going to a rave maybe, but in actual fact no, he's not. He's going for a dive. That's his diving board, and maybe he's diving into one of those pots of water or pails of water, something like that. Then we've got the blocks, or the actual boulders, which you can put your characters onto and kind of grounds the whole scene beautifully well. Then you have your swallows. And then lastly, we've got, of course, the pail of water. We've also got the terracotta pot, and we've also got the dish where the animals can be having their shower or whatever, or having their bath. The whole collection, £98.99, free P&P, and ways of spreading the cost interest-free on our website, carnationcrafts.co.uk. All right, now we've got the boards, Carla, haven't we, to go through, because this is our last hour of the day.
We have. I am chairman of the boards.
Jeremy, I remember. I forget the others.
We've got Jeremy the frog,
yeah.
We've got Alan the snail, and we've got Norman the duck.
Yes.
All of them exceptionally handsome and ready to go and have a splish splash somewhere. And we do provide, obviously, areas that they can be. So there's a little bath, there is a plant pot, there is a bucket, so our little friends can go and have a lovely time out in the water. So it's the colourway, isn't it? It's the colours of the pieces and how they go together. So you've got those beautiful things. And if you start to think about the colour wheel and how the colour wheel comes together, and you see your purples with your yellows and your oranges, that's exactly how it should be on a colour wheel. It's just gorgeous. It's beautifully done. And the artwork is just incredible. So things like Alan, where we've got, you can just see it here on his shell, you've got the little cut lines that go round. That allows us to build each part of the shell and make it rotund, then the next bit rotund, and then the next. So you get this really beautiful shaping for it. But actually, if you start looking at his bodywork, it's incredibly realistic. I mean, Norman is the dude. He is so happy. So we've just got these beautiful characters, as we've come to expect from Carnation, and as we would like.
And also all the artwork is done by Nick and the team in the UK, and you've got absolute carte blanche to actually sell what you make for good causes or for personal profit. They don't mind that at all, which is fantastic.
No, free angel policy, although you have got to cut it. So if you print it out, you have got to cut it with a die before you can sell it. Yeah. That's the kind of only angel policy there. We've got little Monty Mouse here in his very, very handsome swimming suit. He is just beautiful. Good afternoon, Happy New Year, sorry, Joe Jasper, to you as well. You can see his very beautiful swimming costume, his little toe-zits. He's all ready to dive, and he's got a little diving board. Think about cutting that away, so you've just got the steps, and think about cutting all your elements into it, so you could put that just on the top of that bath to give it a diving board. Lots of different ways to use these. This is a really versatile collection for loads of different playways. This is one of my favourite free flow, and I just think is incredible because I think as a corner piece to any card, it doesn't matter whether it's this collection or a different collection that you're using, just as a corner piece, it's gorgeous. And you've got the flowing water at the tap, you've got the piece of wood behind, you've got the little plant pot here, and then all the beautiful wildflowers around it. So very pretty, and incredible, versatile.
Quite a few of the design team were using glossy accents to make the water
to do the water. Somebody yesterday said it would be really cute to change the water to red and use it as wine.
Oh, yeah.
You could absolutely do that, and to do that you would cut it as it is. You would also then cut it in red cardstock, a dark red cardstock, and you would just simply cut away the water there and add it in yourself with the red, so you could change that and it would look like it was flowing wine. So if anyone wants to know how to do that, that's how you would
Having
do it.
a bath in red wine, that could end up a bit messy.
I mean, it sounds vile to me, I'll be totally honest. It sounds like a hangover in a bath, I'll be very honest. Miss Tistaz looks like she would quite enjoy the prospect. You've got this beautiful, beautiful old plant pot here where you've got the cracks in it and then you've got the moss growing through it. It's really structured, really gorgeous, all the shading work that comes in to give it that 3D realistic view. Then you've got the pail, which has got all your little nail work in it, again, all your correct shading, so it's all gorgeously detailed. The detail in their work is just insane. And then this beautiful little bath, it's like a little pan almost, isn't it? It's really sweet. And all your little buddies, they can all sit in here and they can do all of their swimming and all of their good stuff. A flourish of swallows, which is just exceptional. So this is one die, one piece of artwork, but it can of course create separate birds, and if you cut them all out you would have 5 separate birds. They've got little pip marks, so you are able to cut them exactly where you need to, or you can use it as one piece, just manipulating slightly to make them archways, leave it as it is so it'll go span across the card. Really beautiful ways of playing that, and the colourway is stunning. So think about this blue against the kind of yellows and the oranges of Norman the Duck, and you'll see how we're bringing all those colourways and those playways together, and that's what makes Carnation so rich every time we use it. Your grounding devices, numero uno, the thing we need the most to make sense of everything that sits on top of our imagery. So you've got obviously your decoupage elements, it all comes together, but please do feel free to just place them along so that you can make an actual brick wall, and you can place them on top of each other as well. That helps that wall build even more. So super, super beautiful. Look.
I love this house.
Like Dingley Dell. Beautiful, beautiful little ceramic house almost. The little fairy tale door, and then you've obviously got your little skew width gate, which I love, and your leaf roof, which allows you to decoupage up. You can do all different elements with it. It's super pretty, super sweet, and it's got all that whimsy of those kind of children's illustrated books that we remember from being young. Kind of those Enid Blyton kind of areas that we used to go in for the fairy tales, and you've got your stunning rocking chair. That'll go in with so many collections.
You can actually buy kind of garden sheds a little bit like that, maybe as your craft room or a hobby room or an outside garden office or something like that.
I've got a very blue summer house in my garden.
Yeah, you
it's
have.
Very cute, a little blue summer house. And then this is an absolute boon for any crafter. This is just incredibly awesome. I love this so much. You've got all your florals coming around. These can be used for tucking and weaving. They can be used in your wreaths, so your wreath maker, those kind of thing. You can tuck them all into those, so they'll transcend over there. But this is magic, this piece. I love it so much. I think it's incredible. All the ways we can cut and tuck and shape and change and use the different elements for different pieces. And it's a card shape, so it is an actual card shape. So you've got your card base on the outside here, and then you've got a mat to go in it. You can start to fold it and change it into, you know, different ways to be. You could have it as the card where you could put that back to be a stand, or you could pull it forward and have your card on the triangle and create something on the inside. So super pretty for all of those things. And actually, if you did that and you kept the outside mat on it and you closed it over, you would be able to use your pop-up mechanism, I think, possibly there as well. You'd have to experiment and see, but you might be able to then open it and have flowers coming out.
Stunning. What a collection this is. And we're all just so chuffed that you are falling in love with it as much as you are. As I say, this is our first launch on Carnation Crafts TV for 2023. And to do 60% of the entire stock in literally 2 live shows, and there's still 2 shows tomorrow and 1 on Wednesday. If this sells out, by the way, which is looking very much likely it will, it's going to take a little bit of time to be able to get more stock back in the future. With the way the world is at the moment, we're looking at maybe anywhere between 5 weeks and 2 months. So if you have set your heart on this today, if you can't run to the $98.99 in full, then there are ways of spreading the cost interest free on our website. Just take a look at carnationcrafts.co.uk. But there's the all important code there. Don't laugh at me, Dad.
Like you're doing Saturday Night Fever.
PPCC 10. PPCC 10 in uppercase. Put that in the promo code box, and that price will be $98.99, the best price we can offer. Got to say hello to Karen Vincent, Celia Jane Lithgow. She said order placed during the first show, on its way. Good news, Celia. Afternoon to Carol Hart, Pearl Ferrier, Carol Hart again, Joe Jasper, Carol Healy. You're all saying hi on Facebook this afternoon, and you can get in touch, of course, as well. You can watch these shows back if you want to at any point that's convenient to you. Maybe you're watching us in your lunch break or something like that. Whatever you do, just get involved and get this order in your basket. You can't find this anywhere else at the moment. Okay, can I quickly show you some finished samples? Now, all day today we've been kind of showcasing the talents of the design team, and I think this is perhaps one of the biggest responses we've had from the design team ever. Loads and loads of boxes full of cards to show you. I mean, this one here, I didn't see it to start off with when I looked at this card to start off with. I didn't realise the mouse was actually balanced on the top of the tap. But open it up, and there he goes. He's in full dive. Time to make a splash. That one's Vera. Thank you, Vera. Now, I know we had some comments earlier on about doing box frames. Well, this is kind of a box frame box, I suppose, or card. Janine Dawson's done this as well, using the amazing Slate nesting dies that we've got in the show. She's used the square ones here, and I'll get onto those in just a second. But this is what we're saying about telling a story and building up a scene, whether it's a card, whether it's a picture for maybe a kid's bedroom or something like that as well. I just love all the characters, I really do. And this is going to appeal to gentlemen and ladies and young and old. It's across the board. I think that's why so many of you are adding into your basket today, because it's got appeal for absolutely everyone. Pam Simpson has used that stunning card, that within the reeds card shape, as the backdrop, and then made this beautiful easel card. And these 2 characters down the bottom, the chicken and the frog, have been used to great effect as a stopper, but they actually become part of the scene. So you're building up a scene, telling a story. This is what I think Carnation have really excelled at for many years now, and have come back to, because it's the character, it's the telling the story. It's kind of, you know, if you get 100 people and they all buy these dies, they all print off the vignettes and print off all the artwork, and then they all set about making cards, no 2 cards, I'm sure, would be exactly the same. They'll all be different, and that's because you've got the elements to build the story, to build the scene. That's what it's all about. Now, talking of those slates, let me remind you of this. Now, we touched on this a little bit earlier on in the 11 o'clock show. These, you look at them and think, okay, yeah, they're nesting dies. I kind of get that. I've got nesting dies myself. Well, these are different because you probably haven't got any quite like this. These are the slate edge nesting dies. Now, what that means is the designers of the dies at Carnation have looked at traditional slate slabs or slate dining plates or whatever they might be, and have created this fantastic texture to the edge, but also they're giving you the artwork, the vignettes, to make it look like Slate, which you can print off today. So you can print off all the vignettes for the main collection, you can print off all the vignettes for the actual shapes for your nesting dies, all absolutely free. But these are sets of 10. You get 70 nesting dies in all these different shapes: square, circle, heart, oval, hexagon, DL and rectangle, and you get them for $107.99, okay? And that's, again, if you use that fantastic discount code, which is PPCC10. That will get you your £107.99 price for those, with all the artwork on the website. Just go to carnationcrafts.co.uk. And you've got some boards there, Carla. I mean, to do artwork for Slate layers, not many companies would do that.
Well, it's very unusual to get artwork. There you go. It's very unusual to get artwork for nested dies anyway. It's not something that's, you know, it's just not usually there. It's not usually used, but we get them for these and they're absolutely stunning. So I've run through the shapes fairly fast with you, but just to show you this.
That's the artwork.
Which is obviously the circle one. This is the artwork that you get. So you've got this beautifully textured slate. So you've got the grey and you've got the chalk white. So you've got this really, really gorgeous sort of juxtaposition when you use both together or to use both the same. And they're really stunning. They're really gorgeous and well done, which is what we want. But obviously you can use them in white as you would for your normal nested as well. So suddenly we've got 3 options, or you can use them in mirror. It's endless, isn't it? So I'll run through the shapes with you fairly quickly just so you can see what you're getting. But that's obviously the circle. We'll come to the main board for that. Dave, can I just pop these onto here, and then I'll pop these boards next to me.
Yep.
We've got your gorgeous hexagon there, which I love so much. It's so much like a parasol or the top of an umbrella. I just really like the shapes. Somebody on Facebook yesterday said this would be great to use as honeycombs. I really loved the idea to put your honeycombs together in different colours.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, really sweet. Then we've got your circles. So we just saw those in the colourway, which is really nice to see and to be able to see a preview of that. But they're all the same. You would get those colourways for all shapes. Then you've got your, I love this so much, you've got your love heart and you've got the little ones on the inside. These are so great for tags.
Really unusual
kinds.
to get different shaped hearts in the middle like that. They normally just go down in equal sizes. But
I really like it. I like the fact I've got options, but these are so great for journaling, tags, your scrapbooking, all of the different elements. Your beautiful DL. I am going to try and do a demo with this today so you can see the DL. I'm hoping by the end of the day we will have done most of the shapes. So that is your DL. Then let me just go through these so I know I've done all of them. That's your square that you've got sitting there.
All diamond.
And then we've got your ovals.
Yep.
I love that. I love having the little ones in the centre. Isn't it useful to have different
they've done the same with the
sizes?
oval as they did with the hearts. Yeah.
It's just really useful. And then you have got the one that you'll use the most, the one that you'll use all the time, and the one that I'll use in my first demo, which is your rectangle. Just gorgeous to use, gorgeous to have, but also something that you will continue to use as you go along your crafting journey as well.
Got to say hello to Carol Healy. Happy New Year, everyone, and to you, Carol. She says, this is gorgeous. Got Christmas money, so we'll treat myself. Brilliant. If you've been given some money for Christmas and you've been waiting for the next new and exclusive collection from Carnation, here it is today, under £100, and there are interest-free options on the website, carnationcrafts.co.uk. Now, don't forget, we've also got the perfect papers. So if you bear in mind any of the artwork, if I just take this card here, who's done this one? This is Vera Bow. Hi Vera, if you're watching. She's used 3 different types of the tile, the actual slate, in the 2 different colourways. But if I just drop that in, so you can see how all of these cards, whether it's the green, the yellow or the blue that you're looking at, all of those colours are in that scene somewhere. Same as if I pick up this card that's been done by Barbara Treadwell and hold that there. You can see, obviously she's used some of the perfect papers on the card anyway, but you can see that the colour for the flowers, the colour for the pots, all those sort of things, they're all complemented by the perfect papers. 48 sheets, 300 GSM, 6 colours, 8 of each. They're available at $14.99. And of course, if you're going in for the main collection and you want those as well, you'll just have the free P&P, because it's free P&P over any purchase of £50 or more from the Carnation Crafts website. So that's basically in a nutshell what we've got. One more thing before we go to our demo, and then we've shown you everything in the last show. We've got this. Now, lots of you were asking about this on the website earlier on today. We had some messages about it. Now, this is a USB. Now, all the backgrounds on this USB will work with all of your Carnation Crafts collections throughout the years, okay? Now look, that is some incredible feat. 1,400 backing papers on one digital Dreamscapes USB for $24.99. Now, we've only literally printed off a handful here, because you can only imagine how many 1,400 is. But we've done these as thumbnails, just so you can see. These can be printed off full A4, obviously. But look at some of the most incredible backgrounds. You've got some that look quite Italian, some that look quite, say, Far Eastern. We've got dreamy, we've got dramatic. I mean, look at these colourways here. I've got them the wrong way, I think. But look at that. Isn't that an amazing kind of...
Gorgeous colours, aren't they?
Yeah, like a fairy tale scene in the
soft,
distance.
warm peach tones.
Whenever you need a background, all you've got to do is put this into your PC, have a good old flick through. I mean, that's just incredible. So
There's
useful.
something about having a library in your own house of, you know, if you were to walk into a craft store on the main high street and see backing papers like those, they're just very expensive to buy. But having that library at home where you can print what you want when you want, so you're not wasting paper, you're not wasting ink, and they're just sitting there, and you've got so many different ways to go through. Look how beautiful they are.
Look at that. I mean, they're flowers, but it actually looks like an incredible spring sky, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. If you printed those off on quite light paper, if you could find some sumi paper or something along those lines, they would be beautiful as wrapping papers as well.
Now, we've obviously printed them off as thumbnails. We've then printed them off as A5s, 2 on an A4 sheet. You can make them really whatever size you wish. And there's 1,400 of them on there for $24.99. Pretty amazing price. 230131 is your product code. That's also available today back or on the show by popular demand. Loads of you asking for that earlier on. All right, well, it's just after 20 past, so it's about time we did a demo.
Got to be demo
time.
So let's have a look at what we've got. So I'm using the rectangle shape for us to have a look at, but I want to have a look at the reeds because it's my favourite and I really want to play with it. So I've cut this twice as always. Now I'm going to go white on white, and I haven't done a white on white card for months. I have stayed away for it, but I'm doing it because it's my favourite to do. So 1/2 inch score line, red liner tape, pull it back up towards your body, shuffle, butt it up against something, push it together. All done.
Perfect results every time.
Perfect results every time, except for the cat paw prints on there where Miss Phyllis has been wandering. So white on white. So all I'm doing is taking this down, lower again. Whenever I'm doing this, I always use 350 GSM smooth cardstock because it gives me the perfect lift for anything that I'm put on it. But I need to make sure my weight's dispersed evenly, so I always have the centre trim there. Whenever I'm working on white, I always go for my thicker foam tape where possible. You can't always do it because it might look like a full mountain by the time you finish, but where and as I can, I will always try and take on my thicker layers. And that's because the shadow play allows the white to be seen. Otherwise, what I have is just white that eats itself. And you've got to kind of try and make that point of difference, and this is what allows me to do it. So you can see already that it pops and that my shadow forms all around those edges and allows me to see the difference. If I just go in flat with that, like that, can you see how my white disappears?
Yeah.
I don't have that same impact as I do when I've given myself that point of difference. So white on white, best advice I can give you is get some lift between your layers and you'll be able to see that point of difference so much better. So I'm just going to place these.
There's something very classy about tone on tone, white on white.
White on white is one of my, well listen, I say white on white's my favourite. I think the white on white is generally something that I love playing with, but only if the artwork from any company, but I can do it with Carnation because they do things in such a bright way. So everything that sits on top pops. If you've got something that is very pastel and very toned down, I would tell you that probably white on white is maybe not the best way to go for it because again, it will lose itself in it, but because we've got that pop of colour with Carnation, you can literally every single time go white on white, and it's beautiful. So we're lucky in that sense. So I'm using my little dwelling here, and I've cut away the little side gates here and the little rocks that are at the side, and I'm just using it just as its plain shape with that house, which is very, very sweet. Now, what I was saying about the colour tone here is that the minute I put that down, it becomes vibrant and it becomes bright and it's easily seen and it becomes my centre stage, and it's partly because I've given it that white platform. One of the things that I want to bring forward and I love so much is that.
That is a showstopper, isn't it?
Just take that away and just breathe that in for 1 second because that is extraordinary. It's really beautiful, right?
Where else have you seen dyes that can be cutting out things as fine as those bulrushes and those reeds there? They're incredibly delicate and thin.
It's just beautifully done. And the colour of it against that white on white. So hopefully you can see why I wanted to do white on here, because I'll be totally honest with you, certainly specifically with that dye, you don't need anything else. That is its own showstopper. And I think the colour on it is extraordinary. So now start to think about it with your alternative carnation collections that you've bought in the past as well, and how it draws that in, how it brings together. If we were to put some of the stuff from Colour of Autumn in, those pops of reds and oranges that would come through in this as well, and how you create the most dynamic scenes.
And also think of all the other characters you've got from Carnation, the other mice, the other animals that you have. All of those can be, you know, worked in with this collection. This collection can be worked in with that. So for under £100, you're going to find so many different ways of using all these elements in this collection today.
So what I'm going to do, now I've taken this, is get some wet glue.
Everyday glue.
And place it down. Not a huge amount. And I'm just going to put a little bit on the back of here. Now I don't put a lot of glue on. We've talked about this in the past. I had somebody who said on a Facebook post that I didn't use enough glue. And I totally understand where you're coming from. But I will say, as I have said before, glue is sticky and you don't need a lot of it. In the industry that I started in with craft, the first thing you learn, which is quilling by the way, the first thing you learn is don't use a lot of glue.
No.
You can add glue, you cannot take it away. I'm okay with something not sticking and adding some adhesive, but I can't take it away once it's there. Now, one of the things I need to know is this in the right place before I properly adhere it? And I want it to just be hidden, but I don't want it to be that low down. Now, because I only use little bits of glue, I can change my mind with that. So what I wanted to show you is use less, and you can still move it, but if you press it, Carnation glue is very, very strong. How do we change our visual then, so that if I've got this here, I don't lose my whole house behind it, because I want the doorpost in front of it. How do I change that visual? Well, it's really easy. So what I'm going to do is take my fence post here, and along this line, I'm going to place glue. All right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're just going here, and I'm placing my glue, and then I'm going to place some just on the bottom of my reeds. I want the rest of it free. Then I'm going to take my house, and I'm going to line the bottom up to that line. Okay?
Okay.
Press those together. I
wasn't expecting you to put it there, but...
No. Well, this is how we play with perspective. Because then, where I've got my glue points, I'll just make sure that fence is sticking. And I used white on white, remember? White on white's your best friend. Because now, I have the perspective idea that there is a gap between my gate and the rest of my house.
The house is further back.
The house is further back because I've got a pathway now that leads down. So just play with your gluing points, play with your aspects, make sure you're not using a lot of glue, make sure you can move everything around to place and to piece and to see, because it'll make a difference to your final piece.
That's a great demo. I would not have thought of putting that there, but it works.
I was playing with it the other day, and I love the reeds next to the house, but if you place it under, it just disappears, and I didn't want it to do that because it's an important piece, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I cut another one, and I just cut the reeds away from the post. I'm just going to add those in so it becomes one long fence post in front of my house.
So you've totally changed the way that die looks now.
Yeah. So it's just about creating
and that's what
playing.
Nick and the team are great at doing, is showing you, giving you a die that does one thing, but then all of a sudden with a few snips here and a few snips there, it does completely different to what you would expect.
Now with this, because of the wet glue, remember we're careful with glue, so now I can tuck and I can transform my reeds into some colour as well. Just placing through. You see how that blooms?
Mm-hmm.
And we get a different picture to what we had before. But we're keeping that perspective there with that house. We're keeping that house set back from the pathway. And that's just simply by using the top of that gate post in order to place it. So same, just bring in some colour.
It looks totally different now compared to the original die, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's just how you transform it. So it's playing height and depth, an incredible thing that we have that can be either daunting or it can be a real kind of power. And playing with that height, just playing with the difference transfer, you can do that. You could also do it by cutting a piece of, for instance, a little rectangle. You could use a rectangle die potentially for doing a piece of green, which comes in the perfect papers for this collection, and just putting it in front of the house if you're uncomfortable with white. But white on white's going to lend itself really nicely. Few more florals, just tuck in. And then we're just going to bring in some fun. I'm just going to raise that out. Pop that through, pop that down. So we've got this gorgeous little hideaway, this beautiful little hideaway home, right? So, but we need someone to come and have a nosy at the little hideaway home.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to take Alan, and I'm going to start ball tooling him, and I think I'll have him this way. So I'm just going to play with his shell, and I'm just running this round. Follow Nick's artwork and the team. Just pull them round. Same again here. Take a smaller ball tool as we're going down in size, so it's appropriate to the size that we're doing. If you want to make it sharper, I won't do the whole thing, but you can take a much smaller ball tool at this point and just start edging on that, and it'll start to really push the boundaries of the edges. And that's just another technique with paper sculpting, just in case anybody wants to go down that route. Pull his body round, and what I'm going to do, take his little shell. Can you see I put a little jewel on his shell?
Yeah.
So I'm just going to pull that forward, and then I'm going to fill him with a bit of pin flow if I can get it to come out of my syringe. My syringe has been playing me up today.
Yeah, a bit bunged up.
It's a bit bunged up, but that's okay. It'll suddenly splodge and it'll go all over the studio. Well, Dave, if you get in my way.
Yep.
And I'm just going to place him on those little rocks. He's about to enter the water into my little house. And he's just looking longingly at the door.
Do you think he's visiting, or do you think that's his new abode?
Dude, I think he's like me when I go past nice houses and like they've got the curtains open and I can't help but look. It's like the grown-up version of going onto Rightmove and pretending you've got money, isn't it? But you can create the most delicious cards. Play with your heights, play with your textures, play with your little tuck-ins, and just see what you can create in that way. There's some stunning stuff.
Carla used obviously the Within the Reeds card shape, which is by far the kind of focal point of the whole collection. Now, Sue has done the same thing, taken that same die, but used it in a completely different way. Now, remember, the vignettes, in other words, the artwork for your dies and the creatures and the characters, are on the website now. You can either print them single-sided or you can print them double-sided, front and back. What that means is then you've actually got not just a front and back, you've also got a left and right. And that's what Sue's done here. She's used the left-hand perspective with that particular display of foliage and bulrushes and so on. And then she's used the other side, the right-hand side. So the two fences then meet up in the middle. So you've then got this fantastic, almost like an archway or a gateway leading through the scene. You've got the little mouse diving off the edge there, diving off his diving board into the pond, the little chick looking on, and then the swallows across the top create this archway, which is really lovely. So, you know, looking at Carla's card, using the same die with the actual the leafy hollow as well, and then putting this next to it, you can see that it's totally different, although the main die in the middle is what's been used to be the main focal point for both. So it's all about you telling the story, you choosing the characters, snipping here, snipping there, building up a scene with all that's here today. Rather than having a topper on it with a predetermined image and a predetermined scene, that's the story, that's what you put on your card, that's it, you've not really made the story up yourself. With this, it's all about you telling the story, not being dictated to. So 230101. The Ponderance Place collection today. Now, this has been one of the most popular collections of recent months. Remember, it's the first one that's exclusive to us for 2023. You can't buy this anywhere else, not on any other TV channel, not in any shop for a good few weeks. And if this does sell out, we reckon it'll be at least maybe between 5 and 8 weeks before we can get any stock of this back. So $98.99. The way that we display the price and the details now for our new shows for the new year is that we show you the best price that you can pay. And that is the price if you use PPCC10. 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 That will get you that extra discount, taking it down to £98.99. And of course, there is interest-free clear payments available on the website for you as well. So that is 230101. Don't forget the perfect papers to complement that, because the artwork, again, if I just get Sue's card for a second and just hold it there, You've got the blue of the swallows, there's the blue in the cardstock. You've got the yellow of the chick, the yellow's in there. You've got the green, well, we've actually used the green as the background there, behind the bulrushes. It just makes sense. If you're spending £98 for a few pound more, it makes sense to have your perfect papers that works with the dies and the artwork beautifully. £14.99, £2.95 P&P if that's all you're buying, but if you buy it with the main collection, it's free P&P because you're spending over 50. 230118. Okay, and don't forget we've got the mats and layers in the slate dies available as well, all on the website carnationcrafts.co.uk. And thank you for all your lovely messages today, all your good New Year messages and season's greetings and all of that. It's lovely to know that you're watching, and thank you for spreading the word with people too. We've had a massive response, haven't we?
Yeah, it's been absolutely huge. I mean, we knew it was going to be. We knew that they were going to launch with something special. I had no clue what it was until about a week ago, so it's just been really, really lovely to just see it come on this journey with you guys. That's always a nice thing to do, right? So I want to have a look at some other bits and pieces, but what I do want to look at as well today is for those of you who like your minimalist cards, let's look at something that's more stripped back. And something that is kind of just, it could be used for any occasion. Let's have a look at that so that you can see how dynamic this is, because one of the biggest things about Ponderance Place that sticks in my head is how versatile it is as a whole collection. So the idea that I can use it for Easter, Valentine's, Mother's Day, I could use it for sympathy cards, I could use it for wedding cards, I could use it for Christmas cards, I could literally take it across the board, and that's why it's so important, right? So I've got my card base done in the same way that I have done it all, and then I'm taking in this very beautiful warm cream that is on the perfect papers. And I love this for something very mellow, very soft and very delicate. It's not a shouty colour, it's a very soft colour. I'm going to place and pull.
I could watch you do that all day and not get bored with that.
The little push and pull.
Yeah, little push and pull.
Do you know, it's been a lifesaver. So we just pull those down halfway, we create those tabs, get it where you need it to be, and then before you look at those, isn't that so pretty together?
Gorgeous.
And then we're going to push and we're going to pull, and that gets those into the right area. So we're going to go quite minimalist on this. I am going to use it in the portrait instead of in no, I'm going to use it in landscape instead of portrait, but the card that I'm about to make, you could use it for either, it wouldn't matter. What I want to do more than anything else is play with the florals and just have a look at them, because sometimes a lot of what we get in these collections, sometimes we'll ignore the ones that seem the smaller. So obviously when you first look at this collection, the main thing that's going through your head are things like the reeds and the characters and, you know, those things, even down to the rocks where you're thinking grounding devices. But something as delicate as the florals are the thing that draw all of this together and that make it so, you know, so incredible. And I think just having a look at that as a piece is really important for us to be able to craft with. Do you know what? I will go this way.
Do the vignettes then, do they actually come, is it like a full A4 sheet of printed artwork that you get? Or?
Yeah, so your vignettes, when Dave's talking about vignettes, we're talking about artwork. We're talking about the stuff that Carnation give us to actually create our cards with, and so it's the colour you see. On Wednesday, we're going to go on a trip on Wednesday. We're going to go on a journey on Wednesday, and I'm going to do a composition show. But I'm going to pull out my trusty die cutting machine. We're going to look at vignettes and actually what they are, and then we're going to look at how to cut them. We're going to look at what the difference makes, and we're going to do a composition on the reeds card shape. So we're going to go through the full scape of how you get this collection home and how you can absolutely begin if you're a beginner.
So that's Wednesday at 11, yeah?
Yeah,
Wednesday
10.
10.
I don't want her. She's going to be die cutting Dave.
Are you worried?
I'm worried.
Are you?
I don't die cut on air.
Why?
Because I've cut every single... I haven't recently. I've broken every single die cutting machine. They stopped. They banned me from cutting on the old Create and Craft. They were just like, don't you don't do that anymore.
And what's the most vital, apart from your die, what's the most vital thing that you cut with?
Plates.
Well,
Oh, cardstock.
yeah.
Yeah.
I had a little moment on a show with Create and Craft, which Miss Taz was at the time producing, and I was really nervous about doing die cutting because everybody had banned me from die cutting, but they got desperate and needed somebody to do the show. They asked me to do the show, I agreed to do it, and I was really proud of myself. I did the whole show was die cutting, I did the lot, I got to the end and I'd forgotten to put a piece of paper through with the die. Apparently, when you're using a die, you need to put paper in as well.
Yes, does help. Oh, brilliant. Okay, I'll be tuning in on Wednesday then.
Dave?
I'll be messaging as well. giving you encouragement.
You're supposed to be here to support me, dude.
I'll be there remotely.
The thing is, when that happened, nobody seemed surprised. Nobody. Like, I was like, oh, you need to put paper in when you do that. And everyone was just like, Oops. There goes me again. So I'm just twisting these in so that I can keep them in one place and I can play with them. And all I'm doing is putting glue on the bottom parts. That means when I place this down, and I'm just going to place those to the top, and I've got them here, you can see that I've got them where I need them to be, and I can then start to delicately just arrange my flowers wherever I want while it's pinned.
That just
and I
looks
can
lovely
pull
like
and
that.
manipulate. I know, right? Because the colours, remember we're saying white on white and those colour pops. So I can do this and I can play with where I want them to be. Where I've got them where I want them to be, I could, if I wanted to, just put tiny elements of glue on the back and pin them as if I was pinning her back. If I'd just done Miss Tiz Taz's hair, for instance, I could then pin. And that's all we're doing
let Carla
here.
near your hair, Taz.
Miss Taz doesn't let me within 10 feet of her. Let alone near her hair. I'm a danger to human nature. Right, so you've got that beautiful bouquet. You can see the vibrancy of the colour there. This is already looking stunning. Now, what I was trying to explain is sometimes with Carnation, because the collections are so insane and we get such gorgeous stuff with them, those little bits that we sometimes miss, you know, the florals on these are kind of, we're so taken over by the other elements that might be something that we sort of forget to take, so much, you
sometimes
know?
less is more. I mean, that to me looks so upmarket and so expensive.
Well,
if that was in, I don't know, in a gift shop in the West End of London or something, that would be probably a £10 card.
If I just put the sentiment there, that's a card, right? That's something really beautiful, and I don't need to do anything else with it. And it's the importance of it. That's all I wanted to show you, really, was the value of those pieces. Now, I'm not going to finish there. I have got more to do with the card, but I did just want to show you those elements of it and show you how we can bring these together and make it something else. So I cut one of the slate hearts because I'm totally smitten with it, and I'm going to place this down at the lower point. So this will just protrude from the top of my flower as if it's kind of exploding forward in that bloom. And I just need to make sure it doesn't seat any lower than the bottom rectangular piece here, because otherwise when I open it, it's going to have you know, that sort of, it'll fall over. Somebody's saying, do you know your voices are out of sync with your mouths talking? It sometimes happens, Linda.
It's a great trick.
Great trick.
Yeah.
Often when you watch it back, it won't be the same. It's sometimes to do with the bandwidth of your internet and our internet at the same time, and it can play and transition. So we've got those gorgeous pieces coming through with the heart. We leave those flowers tucked in, just exploding at the top, and then very, very delicately, because they deserve a place. Those beautiful swallows, and I just want you to show those against the white because how beautiful they are.
I think they're my favourite bird, actually. I love watching them when they're in like a big group and they move through the air like a blanket.
There's a word for it.
Swarm?
No. Oh Lord, it's going to annoy me.
On the holiday in the Greek islands a little while ago, years ago now, there was just I don't know whether they're called a flock or a swarm or whatever they are, but yeah, it was just fascinating. It was almost like
a flourish of swallows.
It's a bit like the modern day drones that you see in the sky.
Yeah, you can go and see them. There's places, but where my mum used to live, she used to have them outside her back door, literally in York. Yeah, and there's a word for it. There's
message in, let us know if you know what we're talking about. When there's a whole load of swallows, they just kind of move in harmony.
And you can go and see. So we can create something really, really pretty with these, just to create that shaping around that blue. Those swallows against a white background are incredible because the colour of them is so strong, it's so pretty. So we can start to create in this way. We can bring them round, we can bring them down. What is it? It's a murmuration. There you go. I knew it was something along those.
I thought you mouthed Barbara Streisand then. Murmuration.
We're too old to learn how to lip read, Miss Taz. We can't do it. And maybe you just...
Barbara Streisand of swallows, thank you.
So we can then put them there as well, which creates that border. Look, Sharon's here saying murmuration. Sharon Curtis, with your knowledge.
Curtis, you should be here, shall we? You are here tomorrow.
She's really fancy as Sharon Curtis. And
Is
then
she?
Miss Taz loves her. And then you can put this down at the bottom so you get that beautiful thing. And that's probably where I'll go with it. But I just want to show you the different sides of the delicacies with those swallows. So as I say, we can bring them in and pull the sentiment to the top so you can just outline your heart with them. It's so strong. Actually, I really like that as well.
Yeah, that works.
But it's just knowing the different ways of doing it. I'm going to go for the minimal look because Sharon said she just Googled it. I'm going to go for the minimal look with this one because I did just want to draw it back and strip it back for those of us who wanted to do something less busy, because I know we all craft in different ways, and I try and make sure that all of you have got a visual of what it is you would like to see.
Well, you and Sharon are on tomorrow for 2 shows, aren't you?
I mean, if Sharon can handle it, yes.
Sharon will be here. She can handle you.
I think she wishes she didn't have to.
Hopefully I'll see you soon, Sharon, because obviously if you're in, I'm not, and if I'm in, you're not. So
we'll get you both here
We'll
at the
meet up
same
soon,
time.
sure,
We'll
definitely.
sort it. Well, because we could do it maybe next time that I'm at the big hobby maker.
That's a good idea. Yeah,
We
because
can do
Sharon
it
lives
then.
near there. So
Sharon's near there, so we could all meet up for lunch.
we could do.
And then I'm just going to place this down.
You can come too, Taz, if you want.
That's fine. I know where I'm not wanted.
Sharon can stay at Sharon can stay here, and Miss Taz can come to. I don't think that works either, I'll just say. So we've got something really stripped back, really minimal, and really, really beautiful. It gives us just that little pop of colour, but you can see how then that could take us over for sympathy, for weddings, for birthdays, for Mother's Day, for Father's Day,
Well,
all of the things.
Here's another one Janine Dawson has done, and it's not the same as what Carla's just done, but similar in that, you know, we've stripped it back and gone a little bit minimal rather than thrown everything at it. So you've got these beautiful 3-dimensional flowers that again have been used with a ball tool to give it the shape, and then there's wonderful swallows. Again, for a sympathy card, that's just gorgeous. It really is. And we're using the DL size and designs of the Slate dies as well. So that's what's been used on that one. A few more. I've hopefully shown you as many of the cards as I possibly can today, but we've got minimal space here, and so many amazing designs from the design team. Sue Dalrymple's done this one, so again, a bit like what you've just done there, Carla, just majoring on the flowers and the
I love the way the
swallows.
top of the house has been used there. Can you see the roof? It's upside down.
Oh, I didn't know that was the
Isn't
roof.
that brilliant?
Oh yeah.
Well done. I love that idea.
So it's almost like a lily in a pond now,
Isn't it?
upside down.
That's brilliant.
Didn't notice that before. Thank you for that one. What else have we got here? Here's another one. This is again using a reverse vignette. 2 chicks pointed towards each other. Maybe they're brother
Norma
and sister.
and Norman.
Yep. And then using the left-hand side and the right-hand side of the main card blank, the within the reeds, you've then got that continuing fence at the back there too. So there's just so much possibilities when you've got a collection like this. The possibilities are endless, whether you're looking for something that's really kind of tongue-in-cheek humour, running the bath there. As we said before, it could be glossy accents that you put on here. We've got some little kind of glass gems on there to look like splashes of water. I just don't know where to start or where to end because there's so many to choose from here. This one's Fiona Abbott, who's done this one. Another one using both the left and the right hand side of the within the reeds card shape. Stunning, absolutely stunning. Well, it is 230101 if you would like it. $98.99, remember, is the best price. Now, what we mean by that is, provided you use this, PPCC10, provided you use that in the promo code box, you're going to get that price down to $98.99. If you don't use it, why wouldn't you? Because it's going to be $109.99 otherwise. And there are ways of spreading the cost as well if you want to on our website too. But that's what you're going to be in the market for, I'm sure. Congratulations if you've ordered it already. A massive response to it. 2 more shows tomorrow, another one on Wednesday. Can I also remind you of the perfect papers? If you want those, add those into your order because it's the perfect harmony to go with the artwork and the vignettes that you'll see at carnationcrafts.co.uk. All free to print off, by the way, but here's the beautiful 300 GSM quality card, 6 colours, 8 of each, all for just £14.99. And one thing that I haven't had a chance to talk much about is the fact that there's a new feature on the website as well. Now, we're only too well aware that some of you aren't quite sure when our live shows are on our own TV channel, carnationcrafts.co.uk, of course the website where you go to. When you go there, we've got a new calendar for 2023. Now if you go and look at January, you'll see every single show that Carla or Sharon or whoever is doing the presenting all the different brands that we've got coming up, well, not brands, but the different kind of themes that we've got and the different collections that are coming up. So you can see that we've got something on the 29th, we've got something then on the 3rd going into February. There we go, look, so everything's listed, the days, the times as well, so you need never ever miss a show with Carla or anyone else here at Carnation Crafts TV. So that's something new, so you can see at a glance everything that's on offer, everything's coming up during the week. But whatever you do, the urgency is to get this collection, because if it does sell out, which we think it will do, if not today, tomorrow, or maybe Wednesday, but certainly by the end of the week it's not going to be here. It's going to take us a good 5 weeks minimum, maybe up to 2 months to get stock back for other shops and for other places. So it's exclusive to us at the moment. You can't get it anywhere else, and you've loved it, which is really good news, isn't it?
It is. It's just been a real delight to bring, a real delight to work with, and I hope you guys get the same pleasure from it that we have here. We are going to be here tomorrow with Sharon, and Sharon's going to show you her stuff with all her fancy stuff. She's going to come here with like a fancy toolbox and all the fancies. That's what she does.
Yeah, I know.
She brings like a full toolbox.
Sharon is one of the most organised and tidiest crafters I've ever met in my life.
I'm going to make a mess on the desk that she can't see. I'm going to set her up so her pen flare doesn't work.
By the way, don't forget the USB as well that lots of you have been asking about, the digital Dreamscapes USB with 1,400 printable backgrounds on there. It's a complete background library, and you can use these, of course, in conjunction with your fantastic Carnation Crafts collections as well. Thank you ever so much for all your lovely messages today and for all your involvement with the show too. Watch the shows back at any time. If you maybe missed the first one this morning or the second one, you can watch them back at your leisure and join Sharon and the team tomorrow. Thank you, Taz.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carla.
Thank you.
Thank you, me. Thank you, you. Thank you. See you. Bye. See you in about a month's time.